Today, we are going to put our ultimate AI to the test and see whether it can hold its own against those randomly generated shapes. As you see, we've already progressed to the next level. We're at level 47 now, and making the next shape is as easy as this. I just have to click this constant signal, which works as a control unit of our artificial intelligence, of our factory, and select this goal shape. This now sends a signal to our factory with the goal shape information. It gets handled by those 4 color mixers, which mix the correct colors. This factory handles the bottom part of the shape, which, as you see, is this. So half star, half circle, white and yellow, which means that here we should have yellow, then white, then yellow, and then white again. And here we should get circle, star, circle, and a star. Those get then painted by the corresponding colors, and in the end they get stacked together right here. The factory still contains the colors and shapes from the previous shape, and it takes some time for it to flush out. In the meantime, we can see that we are creating those beautiful shapes somewhere in the middle of the previous shape and the current shape. The second part of the factory is this, and it receives the other part of the shape as the information, which is this white shape. So all the colors should be white, which they are, as you can see here. And then here we should have just the windmills and the squares together. Those get assembled here. We're already getting the right shapes, which then get stacked here. So we should get to the next level in no time. I've also noticed that our factory only has 2 layers, which is unlike me. I thought I've completed that. We should get to the next level in just about a second. I'm gonna switch to the next shape and create the additional 2 layers of our factory. It should be as easy as copying the second part of the factory, manufacturing the second layer of a shape, copy it twice, because a shape can have at most 4 layers. Just connect the color inputs, shape inputs, and the logic inputs to that. Already to the next level, we're at 9 a second. We need 9 a second of those shapes to progress to level 49. I switched it there, and I'm a little scared. Maybe later we're gonna get at huge numbers a second needed for progression to the next level. So we'll see how that goes. Here we can upgrade the speed of mixing and painting as well. And we're slowly getting to the situation when we are not gonna have enough of those rocket ship shapes. We should start working on those pretty soon as well. I think only like 1 or 2 more upgrades and then we're gonna be at 0. We're only getting a few of those. We've just got 17 a second, and we could use about 100 maybe even. I'm gonna copy this. It's 50 grand, and I just need to place it somewhere here. This here is the shape that we want. It has all 4 base shapes in there. So I'm gonna line it up so that we can start extracting that as soon as possible, like so. I'm gonna connect these factories a little later, and I'm gonna paste the 4th and final layer as well. First, I'm gonna try and find the same shape as before, and I think it's this one. So I'm gonna shift the factory a little. It doesn't line up perfectly, but that's just fine, it doesn't matter. And now I need to copy the wires as well. So let's select all of this, copy the wires. That's 30,000 of those blueprint shapes. We nearly had 1 million of those in total, and we're all the way down to 300,000 in just a second. This is the trickiest part about copying the factories, which is lining up those wires. I think that this is it. Hopefully, let's paste it. Yes, seems correct. Now I need to line up the final bits. Trying to line it up on the top part with the 2 brown rectangles there. And I think that's it, and that the factories should be all connected. We can see it right here with these filters, that they're done saying that they've got no input. They've got some signal going on. We've progressed to yet another level, so it's time to update this information here. And I think we can just go ahead and start connecting these two factories. Sadly, we won't be able to do it before we get to level 50. That doesn't actually matter that much. Oh, phew, that gave me a scare. This is not connected. These filters say that they're not connected because they've got no signal going into them, which is because we haven't connected this wire to the shape information yet. So that should be fine. I believe I've connected all the colors and the shapes, so the inputs are alright, the physical ones at least, and now we just need to connect the logic. But first, level 50, still only 2 layers, so maybe the next level is gonna be the more difficult one. Let's start manufacturing this shape and connect the logic to the other parts of the factory. So this is the first layer, it has the whole shape. And then here, when it's switched to the second part of the factory, we only get this shape, the second layer. But if I were to create a shape with 3 layers, then this would get the topmost layer, and that's not correct. Oh damn, I see that it's a little more difficult than I expected. So this unstacker always creates the 2 bottom layers, or the top layer gets shifted on the right. That's what this does. So if I only had 1 layer, then it gets put to the right and nothing on the left. If I have 2 layers, then again the top one is on the right side, and if I have 3 layers, so I add just 1 more, it's also on the right side. But here I always want the second layer. It's gonna be tricky. So we're gonna need to input some more logic here. Alright, it's not as easy as I originally thought. That's a shame. Okay, there we go, level 51, and the goal shape currently has 3 layers. So if I were to actually input this shape to our AI, it wouldn't really work because it would only create the first 2 layers, or as it now works, the bottom layer and then the top layer, because the logic is missing for disassembling a shape with more than 2 layers. So for now, just so this doesn't go to waste, I'm gonna manufacture the purple upgrade shapes. Yes, that's the purple shape, so we should be getting a lot more of those so that I can just keep upgrading these all the way. The problem with the unstackers is that they split the shape into top layer and the rest. Top layer is on the right and the rest is on the left. So if we only input 1 layer of a shape, the top layer is gonna be the only shape that we've got, the first layer, and here nothing. If we have 2 layers, then the top layer is gonna be on the right, bottom layer on the left. 3 layers, again, just the green part, the top layer on the right side and the rest on the left. And we need to create an analyzer which is capable of giving you, let's say, the second layer, the middle one, for example. The issue here is that in this case, when we've only got 2 layers, here on the top part we get the bottom layer. If we do the same here with a shape that has 3 layers, we get the middle layer, and that's the same logic applied to different shapes. We need to find a way around that. I'm thinking about playing with the transistors. So in this case, only let the signal through if on this side we actually don't have a shape. That would be perhaps the best. But we need to turn this no signal into a true or a false. So we could negate it into a 1, but we actually want a 0 if there's nothing there, so we negate it twice. So this logic just says, do we have just 1 layer? And if so, don't tell me what it is. It's currently useless, but that's the thing I'm trying to work with. I think this might be it. Because here it has 3 layers, so we want, as the second layer, we want the white circle, that's here. So if we are to create this logic the same way, then we actually get the white circle. And that's what we want the second factory to create. And if we only had 2 layers, then we want the second factory to still create that shape. It's complicated. I'm gonna copy this whole thing to here with the 2 layers so that we can see whether it actually works or not. It does, it seems to be working. How about just 1 layer? Does it work with 1 layer? It does! It works! And now the ultimate test. How about 4 layers? I forgot what it's supposed to be doing actually. It doesn't matter. Let's examine this. Oh wait, it doesn't work. It doesn't work! Oh man. I had another thing in mind. Ideally, we would like to unstack a shape into 4 signals. So here we have a signal, there's a shape with 4 layers. And we want to unstack these, so we would have 4 signals, 1 per each layer. And if we manage to do that, we would be doing just fine. So let's do it the simple way, like we know that there are 4 layers. And then we'll see where or if it actually breaks once we get fewer layers. Okay, there, that was really easy. So 4 layers, we strip the top one and have the rest, and the top one, the rest, top one and the rest. So it's from the bottom, from the left side. Purple, then white, then green and then red, which is the same as with the goal shape. So that's correct. Now I'm gonna copy all of this and try and see what happens if I do this with a shape that has only 3 layers. So I remove the top red layer, and now we should get, so here we got nothing, then we've got purple, white and green. I see, I don't really like that. So normally we would feed this wire to the first factory, but if there are only 3 layers, we would feed the second. And I really dislike doing that, because the logic here is somewhat backwards. It seems like we always should feed this wire to the last factory, and then this one to the one before that, this one before that, and then when we stack, we look, do we have something before that? If not, skip the stacking process. But I don't want to work from the back. I really fear that I might have to make the shapes from the top layer. So the first factory, as we have here, would manufacture the top layer of a shape, and then we would stack it on top of whatever comes from the other factories. So first, let's upgrade the belt. And I think that this is what we're gonna implement. And I'm a little scared because it means that I'm gonna break my factory again. So here we have the main control unit, and we want to take its signal and unstack it like that. And now we want to feed it the topmost signal, which is this one. I'm gonna move the controls to the right side, so there the wiring makes a little more sense. And now the top layer is supposed to be here. And wait, I'm doing it wrong. That's wrong. This is the top layer. This is what we're manufacturing here, right? I think so. So why did I move it? I wasn't supposed to move it. I might be a little retarded. Just a little. So now this wire is the top layer, so it gets connected to here. So this now manufactures the very top layer of a shape. Then the bottom layer should get manufactured somewhere up there, here I believe. So that's the top layer now. And since here we have the star, that means that this is also wrong. So here we shouldn't get the star information, but actually the information about the second layer. So if there is a second layer, you should stack. This is the second layer going to the second factory, and again we indeed do want to negate this information, just as we're doing already. So now it's negated, which means we're sending those shapes to here to get stacked. The third information is gonna come all the way to the third factory, and here I'm gonna again have to fix this. So the third information should come into this place right here, into the filter. It currently has no information, which negated is a 1, so they send the shapes through into the second, no stacking, which is correct. Since now we only have 2 layers, I'm just gonna connect the conveyor belts from the second factory into the third factory, and now continue with the wires. So this wire should continue all the way to the third factory, that's here. Again, remove this connection to the filter. Now the last thing is to connect this fourth factory with the wire coming from here. Connect it there. Again, remove this wire going into the filter. And actually in this case, we don't even need a filter at all because there's never going to be a stacker there. Well, there is one, but there's never going to be a fifth factory because a shape can never have more than 4 layers. So I'm removing this whole thing, and here we can just connect it straight away, so we're never stacking. I think that's it. So shall we give it a go? Let's click our little AI marker, and here let's tell it to manufacture this new goal shape, which means that here we should be getting the red circle, then we should be getting the bottom 2 layers. Here we should get the second layer, which in this case is this white windmill star, and then here we should get the bottom layer, which is the red windmill and the purple square, and here nothing. So let's try it. Yes, that's it. So now we just need to see whether this actually works. Top layer manufactured in the first factory right here, just the red square. Red, red, red and red, and these should all be square, square, square and square. It's brilliant. And okay, it's gonna take a second for it to work, but we've already got the squares. I can trust this. It's gonna work. What about here? Yes, we do need to stack, that's correct. I'm really glad that we no longer have the deconstruction of a shape information in this area, but that we've outsourced it earlier. So in the second factory, there's nothing that we need to change here, because this should be the correct information, and now the factories are almost identical, even more so than before. This is the second layer, so we should get this shape, that's right, and it should be white everywhere, brilliant, then star windmill, awesome. What about here? Why is it not connected? Okay, here we are correctly waiting on those shapes to arrive from the top. That should be the third and last layer, but here the wire is not connected. So I'm gonna connect it now, and now we are getting this information to the top layer there. So that's purple, that's brilliant, it's working. Yes, windmill square, awesome. Should be getting the shapes any second. Again, not connected here. Why not? That should be connected. I think I messed up again. There, it's connected now. The shapes are coming. The shapes are there. Now just waiting for the other ones, which are also arriving. So we should start stacking at any second. Yes, arriving. Yes, they are stacked. And they skip the stacking process because there's no fourth layer. That's brilliant, because the fourth layer is receiving no signal. There shouldn't be a fourth layer there. Now these shapes are slowly arriving to here, and we should start stacking momentarily. Yes, we're stacking. That's brilliant. So I think we've done it. I would say that this now truly means that the factory is complete. And I know I've probably said it a couple times before already, but it really did seem like the factory was completed. But it wasn't, but now it is. But we've still got a lot of testing to do, since we don't yet know what happens at the 75-ish level when we're actually gonna get missing pieces. I think we've already figured that out, but the proper testing is to come. Now from the top factory we're getting the correct shapes, that's the bottom layer. Then here we're getting the right shapes as well. Or are we? No, not yet. Ew. We should be getting those white ones, so that's gonna take just a second. There, it's cleared up, so now we get the correct 2 layers right here. And if we take a look at the last factory, here we should just get the squares, red squares, and they're almost there. just tiny bits of yellow left. I think we are already there. So now just a few more seconds before we actually progress to the next level, once those correct shapes start arriving right here. Hello, me again. I'm a nugget. I'm an idiot. I didn't realize that these stackers are the wrong way around, because here indeed we're making the top shape, but we're stacking it on the bottom. That's wrong. So I'm gonna go into the blueprints. Hello, haven't seen you in a while. And we need this. So the bottom shapes are coming from the top, and from this side the others. Back to the AI. It should be right. Now I just need to place these blueprints everywhere on those 3 factories that we've got. And now just to reconnect the conveyor belts. There, and then back into the original one. Same with this factory right here, and reconnect to the original conveyor belt, reconnect this last one. Now the shapes are going, and we should now finally start getting the right shapes. So let's do the outro again. No shapes here. That's correct. The top factory, which means the bottom layer, in case there are 4, they are not. So no stacking here, and here we finally have the windmills. That is correct, that's the bottom layer. We've always had the windmills anyway, we just did the stacking wrong. Yes, that's the white, and here the shapes are correct. So windmills on the bottom, purple ones, and then the white. Proceed to the last factory, squares on the top, squares on the top. Now the shapes are finally correct. Which means that we should start receiving those any second. Here they are, and now we should start seeing the numbers go up. Yes, the numbers are going up, so perhaps just one color was off or something. But we should be getting 17 a second of those in just a little bit. I think there's still just one color wrong or something. There! Nice! Yes! Completed level 50. It was 51, but doesn't matter. Achievement unlocked. Reach level 50. Why did we only get it now? Doesn't matter. What about this shape? 3 layers again. We shouldn't have a problem manufacturing this shape at all. And that's the factory completed.